Twister is a timeless classic that captivated audience, so much so that there's going to be a standalone sequel this summer. But before that standalone sequel hits theaters, fans at home can enjoy the original Twister in 4K and UHD on July 9th. Jan, this movie is legendary. I'm so happy I got to rewatch it and re-explore it. I'm going to tell you right now, man, the added atmosphere, the added Atmos treatment, I feel like I was pulled into the screen. How does the 4K version compare to the original in terms of capturing the intensity and realism of those storm sequences?
Yeah, actually, that I'm glad you felt that, because we spent a lot of time on improving the soundtrack, not only the visuals but the soundtrack too. Because again, like, you know, we're at the end of a movie and there's like no more time. We have to get it finished. The movie has to be in the theater next week. And so you do your best, and it was okay, but I never had all the really sounds. And also what I really wanted for this Ultra DVD HD, I wanted to be like, not only get a really sense of full surround, but I wanted it to be almost at the same time intimate. Like you, in a movie theater, you have those big echoey rooms and with all, but it's that the sound is so far away from you. But now when you watch at home, it's an OLED screen, there's no TV screens, it's fantastic, and you have this really unique soundtrack around you. It's so cool. It's so, I mean, I was excited. Let me finish. I was so excited listening to it again. It was really fantastic.
Yeah, and it looks so sharp and clean. I mean, we see the sky really go green in this film, and it just pops. It's like, wow, it's as if I was almost watching it in the theater, like back in the day. It's incredible.
That's exactly what I feel too. I mean, because we are now have access to super high quality TVs and super high quality surround system for your TV. It is, to me, sitting at home, looking at it and hearing it, it is actually a little better than in the theater, because in the theater, I mean, this little image of one film is expanded to 50 feet, but here that is all back to scale to 55, 65, 75 inches. So there's a lot more information on this screen, and which is so much more interesting to see. And it's, to me, you will see a lot more than what you've ever seen on screen. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely. And you know what I love about home entertainment releases is that it's almost like going to film school a little bit, because there's this great behind the scenes, I guess, like mini documentary about the legacy of Twister, which you kind of tell stories about, which I really enjoyed. Like, I want to talk about Bill Paxton for a second, who plays Bill Harding. He said that he didn't have to act a lot in those intense scenes because everything was so real and practical. Can you talk about shooting practically in those scenes and how Bill kind of dove into those scenes, and also how Bill inspired the rest of the team for those type of scenes?
Yeah, it is. I think that was my ultimate goal, is that I wanted first to have a cast that looked like storm chasers, that really had that kind of feel, a little rough, a little really, and not only that, but when filming it, the most important thing to me was that you could see the actual reactions of the actors when the stunt is happening, when the action is happening. So not separate like it's always done in movies. You film one side and then you film. I filmed them both at the same time. So the responses are really super real. And not only that, they are confronted with walls of debris and ice and rain and all thrown at them. And it's all real rain. That's not visual. It's not special, but it's real. And that reality it makes actors forget that they're acting. They just have to survive, basically. And that, to see that on screen, to see that those responses, the audience know this is not acting. This is real. This is really real responses.
That's something I love about the 4K version too, is because I think that with certain films, you still, I mean, even though certain things look great in other films, you can still feel like there's this green screen or CGI effect. Whereas in this film in 4K, everything looks like it's captured in screen. It looks so real and so believable. You know what I mean? I do want to talk about Helen for a second, because she is amazing in the film. And I almost kind of like, I love revisiting it because she's so smart and witty and such a great counterbalance to Bill. Can you talk about casting her for the film?
Yeah, and of course, in the beginning, they wanted like a bigger star, but I really was reacting very negative to that, because I didn't want, because stars in a movie like this, it would distract.
Sure.
I don't want to see Tom Cruise playing Bill Paxton, for instance, because you would always see Tom Cruise. So you never will see the stunt chick. And that is with Helen too. I knew that she was really good actress. She had very little experience, but in movies. But for the studio, they thought there wasn't really enough of a star quality. Except that's not the star quality. The star quality is the whole group as a team. That's the star. And then the other star are the tornadoes. That's it. It's not about one big star and one other big star there. It doesn't work. This film is all about how real people respond to a real situation. And she was perfect in that. She was really like, and you know, I like that she really was always a little offstanding against Bill, how she plays with him all the time. And he falls in every trap that she sets for him. And that's why I like, that's like real life to me, you know. It's like he wasn't even aware that she set a trap for him, and he steps right into it, and then has to realize, oh, sorry, and then that is something so audience you can relate to, because we all have made problems in our lives and had to deal with it, and it's really funny how that chemistry only became better as the movie went on between the whole team.
Sure. Now, also in this behind-the-scene feature, you talk about Philip Seymour Hoffman. You say that he kind of walked in, and this is exactly who you pictured for Dustin Davis as the character. And look, he's a brilliant performer, and his performance is so nuanced. Can you talk about casting him, because he was also one of the last people you cast, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, he was the absolute last person, because we had seen a lot of people, and I kind of imagined him to be aloof, somebody who's aloof, who is kind of a sloppy but funny, bigger than life. I wanted all those things that in that one character, and laid back. And he was all that, and so when I saw him, and I saw him in his outfit, in his two baggy pants and loose shirts and wild hair, I thought, that's him. You know, I immediately was so convinced that, and he turned out that person. He made it into a character. You know what? In the script, he was barely. I mean, he was present, but more present as like he was there as well, but he never had anything to say. And then I made him, of course, scenes for him, and then suddenly this character came out that everybody loved, and he was just a really big contributor to this movie. I mean, really unexpectedly, to be honest.
Absolutely, and it's crazy watching it back. I feel like I'm a part of the team as they're going on their journey. Now, one thing I love about home entertainment releases is that you can do your own at-home double features. So if you were to pair Twister up with any other film that people can watch at home as a double feature, what would you choose?
Oh, that's funny. I would choose a John Frankenheimer movie. It's called The Train. And the reason I named that film is because that was the first time I saw that an actor did all the stunts himself, and how John Frankenheimer used a really long shot. He climbed on the train, ran over, climbed down had a fight, climbed down a pole, all on camera. And I thought, that's what I want to do. I mean, I want the actors to do it, not have stunt doubles cut away to stunt double, cut away to that stunt. No, I want the actors to actually be able to physically do that. And they can. Why couldn't they? He could. And when I saw that, I said, that's the type of movie I want to make. So that is, to me, that was extremely inspiring.
That's absolutely awesome. Thank you so much, Jan. That was amazing. Look, I loved revisiting this movie. People can own it at home on 4K and UHD on July 9th. It's one of the greatest disaster movies ever created, and amazing job. It looks so beautiful in 4K, and that Atmos. Woo! Thank you so much, Jan.
Okay, thank you.
Copy! This is it. Last one.
Last time.